If you want to land a good job in 2026, you can't make any mistakes. Look, the job market is screwing everybody over and things only seem to be getting worse. Now, tech is still the industry to get into, but schools don't really teach the skills people actually need. Everything is changing so fast, and people end up with 4 years of tuition fees and nothing to show for it. Springboard were early to notice this, and they created programs that basically compete with universities and provide people with skills for high-paying jobs in less than 6 months, from beginner to basically job ready. Now, I partnered up with them about 2 to 3 years ago, and I think it's even more relevant today because look, boot camps are not for everybody. I'm not going to try to sell you that dream. For some people, it's a good idea. For others, it's a bad idea. And it takes hard work, but they focus on job preparation and not just giving you a piece of paper. College. And as always, you can use my code LearnWithLucas for $1,000 off, which is pretty cool as well. Now, here you can see some reviews on the screen of Springboard from their students, because honestly, I could say anything, so it's better to listen to their students than me. And then we have a quick summary of Springboard and basically how it works. So Springboard is kind of like an online school, but built for job preparation and not just for teaching you random subjects. They focus on technology careers and everything is remote, so you can do it from home. The programs are built for beginners and the courses are completely self-paced, so you don't have to attend, specific live classes or at certain times if you don't want to, which is perfect if you already have a job or you just have a busy life in general. But there are some coaching elements which we'll talk about later. Now, you can choose the model and the pace that you want to complete the program. Most programs, I would say, takes about 6 to 9 months if you do them part-time, or way faster if you do it full-time, but they don't assume people want to do them full-time. And here's what they're offering at the moment. Instead of being just all over the place, they really focus on a few key skills. These are AI, data, cybersecurity, software engineering, and design. So which one should you pick? Well, it really depends, and there's so many things to consider, but I'll try to go over a few things really quickly. So AI is obviously a very highly in-demand field, but it's very, very difficult. Data science is a good option as well. I would say though that data analytics is way easier and less technical, especially a good idea for beginners, but it also pays less. So that's, something you have to consider. Software engineering is very competitive right now. It's a good field, just don't follow the herd, and I wouldn't recommend it to just push in beginners just learn how to code. There's been a lot of people over the years just telling just learn how to code and everything will be easy in your life, and that's not really the case anymore, if ever. UX design is also a high-paying field, but it's pretty competitive too. But I would say that you're in the right place if that's your thing, because most people are not coming from a professional boot camp teaching you all the things. Now, in my personal opinion, cybersecurity is definitely the best course on the list here right now, at least with the current job market, because it is a high-paying field, very good salaries, and the US Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that information security jobs will grow by about 29% until 2034, so 10 years when they made the study. And the average job growth across all careers is only 3%. So 29% versus 3%. It's basically growing 10 times faster than the average career. Now, ISC2, which is the largest cybersecurity organization in the world, reports that the world is missing nearly 5 million cybersecurity workers and the skills because people just don't have them. So yes, cyber is pretty hard, but it is worth it. Now, if you don't know what cybersecurity is, because that's fine, you might just think it's about protecting information. That's kind of the truth, but there's also a little bit more things. It's basically the protection of computer networks and data from hackers, and you're kind of like the digital security guard. And everything is online nowadays, and that trend is only continuing, so it's becoming more and more important. The Springboard course is going to teach you kind of the skills needed for an entry-level position, preparing you for that job specifically. So it's not going to teach you everything about cybersecurity, but it's going to teach you those in-demand skills for your entry-level job. It's about 6 months, I think about 15 to 20 hours per week part-time. Graduates have been hired by Cisco, Walmart, the US Department of Defense, and other top companies. It's fully flexible, focusing on doing projects and actually learning the skills by doing, which is very good. And you do get one-on-one support from a mentor and other coaches. And there's also a money-back guarantee, which we'll discuss more later. Now, in the bootcamp itself, you're going to learn 3 core things. First, the basics of cybersecurity and what you actually need on the job, how to analyze incidents and solve cybersecurity problems, and how to assess threat levels and risks and whether a system is safe. It also covers some AI stuff because AI is changing all the jobs, especially in cybersecurity. There are new threats, new ways of protecting yourself, and this is the most updated AI for cybersecurity. Now, I guess let's address the elephant in the room, the support. Now, when you sign up for a program, you want help, right? You want support. You basically have a mentor here that you can talk with one-on-one and holds you accountable. You also have your career coach focusing on job searching. You also have your kind of student advisor and also a community with other students studying the same thing in Springboard. That's really important when you're locked in on a goal, because having, people and support along the way is very, very important. Changing careers is a huge thing. It takes a lot of effort. It is hard, I'll be honest. And unfortunately, most people do fall off. They start online courses, they slowly stop working, and then basically give up along the way. And that is the benefit of a program. Everything is not perfect with the program, definitely not, but you will be held accountable and people will actually care more about you than if you're self-studying. Now, as a bonus, you will also be CompTIA Security Plus certified, and that's kind of like a part of the program too, and a very good certification when you're looking for a cybersecurity job. Now, let's talk about who this is for, okay? So I don't think boot camps are for everybody, and I don't want to push everybody there. You need to just carefully evaluate your situation to see if it's a good fit for you. Look, college is the best if you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, etc. And if you're trying to start cybersecurity, you probably don't have 4 years to go back and get a cybersecurity degree or a similar one. That's very expensive and completely unreasonable for most people. That is when a boot camp is good, okay? It's not gonna instantly replace college. It's not instantly gonna replace, 10 years of experience. That's not the way it works. And it's also a lot more expensive than studying on YouTube or taking open courses. It really is. So if you're on a budget, I don't recommend it. And, especially if you're not really serious, definitely stay away. But for some people, there is a money back guarantee, which means that if you do go through everything, you go through the course and then you look for jobs, and by then the job market is just dead because everything's replaced by AI and nothing works, that's fine. You have a job guarantee or a refund guarantee if you don't get a job. But you do need to check the specific terms because you have to meet some requirements for that, of course. So basically, for people who want more support, coaching, and a personalized learning plan, if you want more people that care about you, you have a team there, you have a community. If you value all these things, I think a good bootcamp is definitely worth it if you're switching careers and you're serious about that. And when it comes to tech bootcamps, Springboard is definitely one of the best.